everybody, my name is Nolan and welcome back to another Pixel Gun 3D Top 20 video. I know, you guys probably thought I died. No activity for over a week and no video in 2 weeks is kind of scary. However, guys, I have just been super busy and really honestly had no intention of making a Pixel Gun video at all. But here we are making a top 20 special weapons video. This is going to be the 5th category video and we got to do melee next. So let's just jump right into the video. And something important I have to say is if you guys want to get on some of the best weapons action, you can buy my loadout in the web store right now. Be sure to use my web store link down in the description. All of these weapons have been in the top 20 videos I've been making, and the loadout is very good for 3-cat spamming in every game mode. So you guys are probably going to want to get your hands on it. And let's just jump into the video right now. First off, I just wanted to say, as we talk about the honorable mentions, that I had actually a top 30 kind of lined up. However, I didn't want it to be too long, so just know that a lot of these weapons probably could have been switched out with other ones. But for now, the honorable mentions, I'm going to start with Wave Pulsar. This weapon is pretty good, actually. It's usually a 2-shot and has a pretty high velocity, so you will actually get a pretty good amount of kills with it. Some people even use it with 3-cat, however, it does have fixed delay, so just kind of keep that in mind when using this weapon. Another good honorable mention is High Voltage. It's one of my favorite all-time favorite weapons. Even though it's not that great, it still is very good at close range combat. It has 216 DPS at Mythical, which is what I have it at. So yeah, it's pretty good. But again, its reload time is super high and it chews through ammo. So with the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into the actual list here. Number 20 is going to be Assassin's Assistant. That's kind of a tongue twister, but not really. This weapon is actually pretty dang good, and like I said earlier, a lot of these weapons can be switched around or swapped out with other weapons not even on the list, and this is definitely one of them. I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of generic, but it's still good, and so for that reason, it needs to be on the list, and it's actually it's really good. It has a base damage of 162, which actually, according to this list, isn't exactly high. Number 19 is going to be Electromagnetic Cannon, and a hill that I will die on is that this weapon is actually good for 3-cat. So I have it at Mythical, and at Mythical, its base damage is 159, which is even higher than a lot of snipers you guys might get. So its damage is good. It has no delay whatsoever, so it's good for any 3-cat loadouts. The only thing you have to get used to is the travel time, but it also has rockets and area damage, so it's pretty decently easy to hit shots. So basically, this weapon is actually pretty good. You can get it in the armory right now, or at least at last I checked, which was like a week or 2 ago, it was in the armory, so you should be able to get it, but you know, things change over time, so who really knows anymore? Number 18 is going to be Sly Wolf, and while this weapon isn't really great for getting kills because it has a super long charge time and its damage isn't too great, the weapon is insane because it's a shield and it blocks all incoming damage, which is very, very useful for monster raids or clan raids, or maybe even duels or flag capture or point capture. So it's a very useful weapon. The one downside is that the consecutive explosion weapons just break right through it. The developers have mentioned that consecutive explosions aren't really intended to have wall break or shield break, but they do, and they can't work around it, so it's just kind of the way it is. Number 17 is going to be Light Devourer, which is the 3rd highest stream beam weapon for the special category, I believe. If not, the reason why it's on the list compared to the other ones is because its damage per second is over 200, and it also has blindness, which I just feel like that's pretty overpowered to have a stream beam with blindness. And so I just thought, yeah, it performed pretty great, and it can also be very annoying to go against. The 16th weapon is going to be Supernova Generator. Low-key, I feel like this one could totally be higher. I understand if you guys want it to be higher. I have things the way they are just because. Like I said, a lot of these weapons can be rearranged, and this is probably one of them. This weapon's very good. I didn't realize it was actually buffed in terms of capacity. It has 5 shots now, whereas I think it used to have 3 or 4. On top of that, it can even one-shot headshot, and it's really good. The only downside, and the reason why I put it so low, is because its bloom is massive. So at far range, you might not even hit someone, which is kind of frustrating. Number 15 is going to be Starfall. With a base damage of 154 and instant travel time, this special weapon is actually very good for spamming. And because it has chain damage and the raining effect, it's very good for killing monsters if you guys like playing co-op survival or like there's a monster event. It's very useful to have and can get kills against players pretty easily as well. Number 14 is going to be Terramorphing Stone. Holy cow. Now, I know already the hate comments are going to go wild for me putting this so low on the list, but I don't care. I don't like this weapon. I don't like it. I'm putting this on the list as a pity move, all right? I don't care that it does 190 base damage. It's so slow. It has fixed delay, so it's not really viable for 3-cat. And that's pretty much it. You can't spam with it because it's so slow. And what was I gonna say? I think no, it does automatically reload, but I don't know. I don't like this weapon. I feel like it's just so overrated, but I don't know. A weapon that's actually underrated is Earth Tremor, coming in at 168 base damage, 235 headshot damage at full charge. Yeah, this thing is actually very good. It was buffed recently, I think actually a couple times, or maybe only once, I don't know. But basically now it's actually a very, very good special weapon for spamming. So yeah, and it also heals you too, so pretty useful. Number 12 is going to be Laser Bouncer and Reflector. Now, I have in my notes here that the base damage is 124, and I'm going to assume that's for Laser Bouncer, which is the better weapon. I'm only going to show gameplay of Laser Bouncer because they are literally just the same weapon. It's just Laser Bouncer has more damage. So if you ever get the chance to pick between the two, get Laser Bouncer because it's literally just better. However, if you can't, get Reflector because it will still get good gameplay. Basically, it has no fixed delay, but it does have input and output delay, so if you're going to use it for 3-cat, you kind of got to work around it. But it's just pretty good because it's kind of like having a sniper in the special category. Number 11 is going to be a weapon that I think was even introduced this update. No, last update. Sorry, I haven't even played the game in 2 weeks, so it's just been insane. But Scepter and Orb, yes, it's very good. Turns out, yeah, this weapon's actually very good. I used it in Checkmate and was thoroughly impressed as to how this weapon performs. And the reason is that because it has like this weird like orbital laser type attack, which from what I experienced was able to do damage even if you didn't directly hit the player. So for example, if I shot at the ground but the player was in the air, it forms this light beam which did damage to the player. Now, I don't know if that's entirely true. However, that's just kind of the vibe I was getting, or like the feel of the weapon's performance. However, that could be entirely wrong, but that's just kind of what I was experiencing. But anyways, it has 161 base damage, so it's always going to two-shot no matter what, and also blindness, which is pretty useful. So this weapon actually got very good gameplay. Another weapon that gets very good gameplay that I think might be kind of slept on is Christmas Letter Shredder. This weapon is insane for damage. The only downside is it shoots in 3 directions, so you have to be close. However, shooting in 3 directions really doesn't matter because it's 3 direction total damage. I believe this is even the body damage is 354. Meaning it's very good. It's very good for spamming. Gift Stealer is going to be number 9, and I know, finally, Vertical Grip Device is going to outrank Gift Stealer. I'll get into that later, but Gift Stealer is a must-have movement weapon. The problem with Gift Stealer is, as far as grapple goes, it's not that great, and I'll explain why later. Again, the reason why this is lower is because of the reasons why Vertical Grip Device is higher. So, like, I'm not going to talk a lot about this weapon. I'll get into it later. Number 8 is going to be Poison Darts, a pretty decent 3-cat weapon. However, it's been nerfed quite a bit now, and its mythical base damage is 113, which is really just not that great. Again, I'll get into why with later weapons. But what's kind of interesting about this weapon is it has a slight manual guidance, which means that if you shoot and you like readjust your aim, you will actually hit the player, but it's very, very fast. You have to be quick with it, but that makes it pretty easy to use for 3-cat, especially because it has no delay whatsoever. So it is a very must-have 3-cat weapon. Number 7 is going to be Ronin, which has 232 damage per second, which is pretty dang good. What I've noticed though is that Stream Beam weapons tend to not perform as great anymore because I feel like more and more people have one-shot weapons which counter these damage per second based weapons. On top of that, I feel like its range maybe not has been nerfed, but as far as range goes, it's not that great, and players that use max range weapons are going to beat you. Cyber Cat Lantern is going to be number 6, and the reason why I put this ahead of Poison Darts is because I just go for instant damage, and it has more instant damage. On top of that, it also has area damage, making it easier to hit shots. So yeah, but it has no delay, so it's very, very good for 3-cat. It's in my loadout right now if you want to go grab it for yourself. Yeah, I know, shameless self-promotion, but hey, what can you do? But yeah, Cyber Cat Lantern, very good for 3-cat. very good for just whatever loadout you may need. And now number 5, we have vertical grip device. And now I'm going to discuss why this is so far ahead of Gift Stealer and why it's a must-have as opposed to Gift Stealer. So initially, I said that Gift Stealer was better because it had a farther grapple distance. However, what I've come to realize is that with vertical grip device, since it fires faster, your grapple distance or your grapple like functions overlap, meaning you can basically fly when using it. If you use it while in the air, your player will continue to go up, which is weird, but basically you stay in the air for longer and it's harder for players to hit you or predict where you're going to go. On top of that, its damage was buffed recently, so you can now one-shot headshot with vertical grip device, meaning that it's actually good for getting kills. So yeah, this weapon is, to say the least, overpowered now. In terms of movement, Necklace of the Ice Skin is going to be number 4, and yes, I know, that may be kind of dumb. However, I just think that it's the best 3-cat weapon for the special category because its base damage is 132, which is the highest we've talked about so far in terms of 3-cat weapons, and it also hits area damage, so it's pretty easy to hit shots. I would personally use this over the other weapons. In fact, I was initially going to put this in my loadout, but the idea was rejected, so just keep that in mind. I would have put this in instead of Cyber Cat Lantern, however, things just didn't work out that way. Number 3 is going to be Firefly's Blessing, a special weapon that is still very much viable for spamming. It's got 244 damage per second, which is still really good. Again though, just as far as stream beams go, the range is kind of limited, so you got to keep that in mind, but it's still a very good weapon to use. Number 2 is going to be Underwater Whip. Now, here's the thing, I know you guys were probably expecting this to be number 1, but the gameplay I will show for number 1 definitely deserves to be number 1. But as far as Underwater Whip goes, yeah, this thing is still extremely overpowered. A 2-shot is just insane. It's got consecutive explosions and a fast fire rate, so it's very overpowered. On top of that, 34 poison damage is insane. Yeah, this weapon is very good and still needs a nerf and is very overpowered and makes me very mad. However, a weapon that makes me even more mad is Cash Gun. This is undoubtedly the best special weapon in the game right now. In fact, it is probably the first or second best weapon in the game altogether. This weapon is so incredibly good. It has a high fire rate, ricochet, its rockets have a insane hitbox, it hits for headshot damage, it has a ton of ammo. As you guys can tell by my loadout, it has an insane amount of ammo. It has extra points for kills, meaning that if you use this in deathmatch, you're going to win. It's just so good. It's so good. Basically, I don't know if I'll remember to show it or not, but when I finish this game I'm playing in the background, I finished with 51 kills and over 5,000 points. And I'm just going to take this moment to talk about an insane problem that Pixel Gun has right now. Deathmatch is unplayable if you're playing against a player with this weapon. If someone has this weapon, you will lose, and it basically makes playing Deathmatch worthless because you won't be able to maximize your rewards. Because this player will just win every game using this weapon. The same thing kind of goes for Deadly Icicle, and then also Team Fight. Team Fight is basically EWO players, which basically means that they suicide bomb in order to prevent you from getting the kills. So that's kind of a problem that needs to be addressed. On top of that, there's just other problems like duels are dead and Team Strike is dead. It takes so long to get, and I'm not saying like dead, I'm not just saying that, I'm saying that like if I try to play, it takes actual minutes to queue with someone, which is insane. And so that's basically why I haven't been playing the game right now. It's just because like it's not fun. I'm sorry, but like Cash Gun and Deadly Icicle have single-handedly made me want to quit the game because of how broken and unfun they make the game. And I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys want to see the final top 20 for the categories, which is Melee, make sure to smash that subscribe button because that might not come out for another week or two. Who knows? But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful and enjoyable. If you did, you know, like the video. And I already said subscribe. But yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to check out my loadout if you want to. Web store link down in the description. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye.